Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your FastForecast coming to you with our Meet the Org. And tonight's interview is somewhat interesting. We are doing a little break with the piracy theme and going with our anti-piracy theme. That's right, there are organizations out there that do shy away from piracy, hard as it is to believe. So we'll give our interviewees a chance to introduce themselves, their organization, and basically they all showed up in force tonight, and we were able to break out the 890 to give them the respect they deserve. So, sir, if you'd introduce yourself, tell us the org name and your position in it.
I am Lord Inquisitor. I am the org leader for the Inquisition. We are a strict anti-piracy private military organization. We are dedicated to bringing down any pirate scum or xeno threat to the human race using the pirates' own tactics against them.
By using the pirates' own tactics, what do you mean exactly?
We know what pirates like to attract themselves to: defenseless freighters, expensive looking marks that they can go after, and we like to set out bait and trap them. And we also like to utilize some of the more quantum interdiction EMP tactics that a pirate might use also against them. The last thing a predator expects is for another predator to be waiting.
My name is MrPanicy. I am the leader of the Giraffe Knights, another anti-piracy, but more importantly, we fight against the Vandal. That's our primary focus, is making sure that the sky is safe for any traders moving to and from populated systems.
Well, we do tip our hat to you because you will probably be our first anti-vandal organization. Especially with our men and women fighting on the front lines in the Vandal War. We thank you for all you do to kind of lessen the strain here in Stanton.
Of course, we were actually present at the Battle of Vega, not at the Battle of Vega, but on the outskirts, and it was a true tragedy. So we've rededicated our org towards almost strictly anti-Vandal, but we do step up if there's a problem with piracy, if it kind of gets too much for others to handle.
Well, we appreciate it. So what we'll do, since we have two organizations here, we'll let one answer and then the other. Same questions, because neither one of you are pirates. So this will go kind of easy. How did each organization form? We've already answered what the main focus is, but how did each form?
So the Inquisition formed actually as a sub-branch of the advocacy during the Messer era, as a kind of black ops group to the secret police that the advocacy was originally designed to be. After Messer fell, the Inquisition was reactivated actually after the fall of Vega, as a way to deal with the rising threat of crime while the Vandal warfront raged, and as a way to keep tabs on Vandal incursions coming into our space. It was actually around this time that the Inquisition and the Giraffe Knights actually started working together because of the Vandal threat.
Not quite as an illustrious connection to the Messer era, but the Giraffe Knights have been around for centuries, and it was more recently, up until the Battle of Vega, more like a private club that people were part of, and we were a lot less active in helping others, but more kind of living off the laurels of our predecessors. After we saw the strife that happened in the fallout of the Battle of Vega, we, as I said, we rededicated, and we really stepped up to do the good that we keep telling every other person that we used to do. We rededicated ourselves to try and make up for that horrifying those years of debauchery and drinking.
Well, that brings us to the question that we were going to follow up with, was by private club, did you mean debauchery and drinking, or did you mean the darker side, which would be kind of narcotics running and things like that? But it sounds like debauchery and drinking.
Maybe I overstepped it. It wasn't as quite impressive with the debauchery, but it was more, as I said, we've been around for centuries, the Giraffe Knights. We can trace our lineage back to the Crusades, actually, if you go that far back. And we've had very many different connections to militaries throughout the years, but for the past probably 100, we really haven't been that impressive. As I said, just living off of the stories that we used to have. And our membership actually decreased quite a bit, and it just kind of passed down through families. So we've really tried to fix that lapse, and make right those years of inaction.
So what you're saying is, and we're sorry, Inquisition, your lineage is pretty cut and easy to understand. We're trying to understand the other,
Giraffe
which
Knights?
is a bit right. We're trying to understand that a little clearer. So you are descendants of the originals, is what you're saying.
As far back as we can trace it, the Giraffe Knights itself, the organization, they were actually knights, and that is where we got our names from.
Okay.
An order of knights.
Absolutely brilliant. Okay, gentlemen. First Inquisition. What are your rules of engagement when you come across pirates?
Typically, we operate on a strict red equals dead policy, but we understand there are certain issues in which an individual may gain a crime stat or end up appearing like a pirate about to jump. So we tend to not be so trigger happy around everyone, but individuals with a known history of piracy, we are free to engage, and we do so ruthlessly.
So you have a basically kill on sight list, and anyone not on that might get a warning, is what you're saying.
Yes, we always warn if our pilots are out and about and we come across an individual flagged as a criminal, and they're not currently engaging in any hostilities and looking like they, may be under some stress or maybe have an issue involving what caused their crime stat. We will always take the time to investigate the situation, find out what's going on. If there's no reply and if they immediately turn hostile, then the fight is on. But we tend to not shoot first and ask questions later in most cases. But for our known individuals that we know are targets, red is dead.
Okay, Giraffe Knight, same question. What are your rules of engagement?
Our rules of engagement are, we want to give people the chance to explain themselves. If it's very clear that they're in the acts of piracy, and also if they're very clearly a Xeno threat, we will engage as quickly as possible. We want to make sure, our primary concern is making sure that the person that is under threat in that instance is protected and is safe. So we will do whatever we can to make sure that the threat is eliminated. If, however, the circumstance seems to be a little less clear, we will give both parties a chance to kind of explain themselves. Hopefully then that doesn't end with bloodshed, but if it has to, we will step up and make sure that the threat is taken care of.
It sounds like you tend to be more forgiving than our Inquisition friends.
We try to be a little bit more understanding. Life is full of gray. We want to make sure that we give people a chance to find the path back to the right side of the law, or the right side. I mean, not necessarily the law, but the right side of morality, I guess you could say. We want to make sure that people have the chance to that path and to find their way back.
What if your target has an innocent on board? Inquisition? If you come across a known pirate or even someone that's not on your kill board and you do a scan and you see that they have someone who is very obviously an innocent, say a hostage on board, what is your policy?
Well, first of all, it would primarily depend on the size of the ship. If it's something like a Super Hornet where the individual is in a hostage situation behind the pilot, we'll make whatever attempt we can to disable the ship, but at some point we have to negate the threat. On a larger vessel, we actually originally started ourselves out specializing in boarding and counterboarding operations. We had a lot of practice on everything from taking over cutlasses to caterpillars and working all the way up to vessels such as this. So if any chance we get, we will try and counterboard and eliminate the threat in person and not damage the ship.
Okay, so you will board. It's not just open fire. You will board a ship.
Oh yes, we will board a ship aggressively, quickly, and as cleanly as possible.
Okay. Draft night, same question. If you come across someone who's red, and both ways, if they're very obviously on a repeat offender, or if they are someone that you've never come across before, but they have an innocent on board, what is your policy?
Well, as I said before in the last question, our first job is to make sure that the innocent is safe.
Now, there's a lot of factors to consider. The innocent could be held hostage. What if the hostile ship is attacking another ship? We have to factor in where's the greatest amount of potential life lost and make those decisions to react accordingly. If they're attacking another ship with several innocents on board, then of course we're going to do everything we can to disable the attacking ship. But if it comes down to it, we won't stop and we won't hesitate to neutralize that ship before the greater number of innocents lose their lives. If at all possible, if we can disable and then board and extract the innocent, that would be the preferred method of handling the situation.
Okay. Inquisition, why bounty hunting and law enforcement instead of, the easy way to make coin?
As far as our making coin goes, we do actually have a few industrialists and traders working under our banner that helps bankroll our operations. But as far as making money bounty hunting, you do what you're good at. You do what you like, and we are good at hunting and fighting. So that seemed like the greatest way to make some money and have our talents be utilized in the best way possible.
Fair enough. If you're good at fighting, do what you do best. Giraffe Knights, what about you? Why law enforcement?
I mean, I gotta echo that statement. We do what we do best, and we do what we know. And there is actually significant, especially if you're good, a significant amount of profit to be made in bounty hunting. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of danger. There's a lot of very talented and scary pirates. I mean, you're foolish if you don't admit to a little bit of fear. But you can make a considerable sum and be quite happy with your life as a very successful bounty hunter. Plus, I do have to say, it feels good to do the right thing.
Okay. Warm and fuzzies. Got it. Every organization, part of their mandates are always to expand their sphere of influence. So, as far as recruitment, what are you looking for in a recruit? First, Inquisition.
Well, first off, when we're looking for a new recruit, one of our primary indicators that we look for, aside from the ability to work in a team in a paramilitary setting, we look at their ability to fly in stressful situations. And we also look at their willingness to operate alone. A key point of how our organization works is we're broken down essentially into cells, where an individual inquisitor or another officer grade will have his specific group that he works with, and they basically act as their own version of a pirate group. They're independent of the rest of the organization as a whole. So we need to look for someone who is willing to work alone or work with a small group without the support of the major organization as a whole, if need be. And at the time, we are looking for individuals who would be willing to step up into a leadership role.
Fair enough. Do you offer any kind of training? You said you want someone who can fly, but do you train beyond that?
Yes, we do. I like to take a personal hand in training individuals in areas that they know that they need development in. I'm always willing to lend my own assistance, but we do also have members who have stepped up as more of a training role, because even though we work as independent cells, we do still have to know how to operate as a sufficient military organization, as we do have a considerable fleet backing behind us, and we need individuals that know how to operate within those bounds.
Okay. Giraffe Knights, What are you looking for in a recruit?
Yeah, so I've been silent for a little while here. I'm the third guy sitting at the end, Wiezzenger, assistant to the commander of the Draft Knights, and kind of run my own little sub thing that I'm not going to get into. But when we're looking for a new recruit within the Draft Knights, mostly we're looking for somebody who shares our sense of the light side of the grayscale. That Andrew or that MrPanicy was talking about, focusing on kind of doing the right thing, and brings that mentality to everything that they do within the game or within the universe here. And of course, the important thing is that that they get along with everybody else and that they fit in, and shares mentality, basically. MrPanicy, if you want to correct any of that, go ahead.
I mean, I don't think there's anything to correct. I think there's just one thing that I could add is that we're looking for any level of experience as well. We are willing to work with a person if they want to learn how to fly, to learn how to become a bounty hunter. We're not looking to increase our ranks massively. We're looking for the right person with the right temperament and the right mindset for this unforgiving anti-piracy, anti-Vanduul force that we're trying to construct. Like, it's a dangerous life, and we need people that can be on the right side of the law and the right side of history.
That's quite interesting. Not going for numbers, but going for quality. We like that.
Quality is quite important.
Well, since we already have you on a roll, we'll go with the Draft Knights. How would someone sign up?
We have a way to sign up through Spectrum. You can search for MrPanicy or Wiezzenger. You can reach out to us. We have a Discord, a private communication service that we're willing to give people access to, and they can come in as what we like to call squires to earn their stripes and then get further access into the organization and how we and our various communication channels and how we keep in touch.
Inquisition, how would somebody go about being recruited into your organization?
We as well have a Spectrum page. You are able to reach out to me directly at Lord Inquisitor 42 directly on Spectrum. And from there, we also have a few recruitment advertisements on a few of the major Discord platform channels, as well as a new page that I will be setting up soon directly to handle our recruitment. But at the time, through Spectrum and through the Discord adverts that I post in the universe's primary channel.
In the interest of transparency, the Inquisition has taken out an ad on the FastForecast daily newspaper. So they are a paying donor at the moment. So just in the interest of transparency, we'd like to put that out there. Oddly enough, the word got out that y'all are doing this interview, and we had a pirate send in a question, if y'all wouldn't mind answering it, and they will be viewing the response. So we've never actually had a write-in as we're doing an interview, so this is interesting. Are y'all open to a question from the audience?
Of course.
Why, sure, yeah.
It says, ask them how they feel about being viewed as white knights of the verse.
I guess it's the same question back. I mean, how do you feel being viewed as black hats of the verse too? I don't think we feel any different about it. We're both on two sides of a very similar coin.
Yeah, I mean, the way I see it, a pirate does fill a very necessary niche in the ecosystem of the verse. A pirate is the very reason why people like us exist, to protect freighter pilots and to protect private property. If it wasn't for pirates, we'd be out of a job. So I feel quite happy being in the position I am because I get paid pretty handsomely to hunt pirates.
That actually brings us to an important question, because we've covered recruitment. You mentioned pay. What is the split when y'all do take down a pirate?
So
yeah,
when we go out and we start our hunt for the day or the evening, the specific cell that is out doing the hunting just does a flat profit share. Everyone gets the same cut. Everyone is involved in the hunt. actually referencing back to your interview that you did with Chaos Squad, we operate in a very similar way. The profit gets shared evenly with no difference given to rank. If you're in the hunt, you get part of the cut.
Okay. Draft nights.
I'm going to throw this one to Wiezzenger.
Yeah, perfect. So we actually recently had a bit of a chat about this and how we're going to handle it. But in the current short term, we're doing the same thing, full profit share. If you're online hunting bounties with us, it's a flat, even split between everybody who's involved. But once more of the banking systems come back online, we'll be looking at a different kind of profit sharing where the organization will get a bit of a cut, but nothing too strenuous.
It makes sense. These ships, such as the one you're sitting in now, are fairly expensive to operate. And if the org's fielding say, an Idris, we can see how that might require a group effort to keep it in the black.
That's partially, actually, that is almost entirely why we run our own industrialists and traders, simply to bankroll the fleet.
2 more questions, and because we know that there are people out there who need your help, and so we will not keep you any longer than we need to. First question, we'll go to Draft Nights. What are your future goals as an organization?
Our future goals, I mean, we're looking forward to getting back to Vega, our home system, and we're looking forward to being able to get back out there patrolling with our Polaris, and making sure that the Vanduul threat stays as contained as it can be. That's our overall objective, and we're happy to be here in Stanton, lending a hand with the pirate threat. But that's where we're going to be in the future.
Well, you do remind us that Stanton is currently under quarantine due to an outbreak. At the next jump gate out, we did get that broadcast. So we're waiting on the jump gates to come back online. That is rather disturbing. So thank you for reminding us. Okay, Inquisition. What are y'all's future goals?
Similar to the Knights trying to get back to Vega, our primary goal, once we are free to leave Stanton, is to get back to our system of Elysium. We stationed ourselves there due to the proximity to an unclaimed pirate system, a Vanduul system, and a naval system for us to supply ourselves from. And our goal primarily is to get back up to our full strength. So a full recruiting drive and being able to get back onto the front line of the war against the pirate and the Vanduul.
Well, Inquisition, you've heard some of the comments, and again, you just took a question from a detractor. Any comments to supporters and or your detractors?
Yeah, to my supporters, we definitely say we thank you. You know, we stand here on the front line, willingly putting ourselves at risk to make sure that you can go about your life and your business safely and happily, and in any way you see fit. To our detractors, we're coming for you. Innocence proves nothing is not just a slogan.
Fascinating. Draft Nights, what do you have to say to your supporters and detractors?
I think I can say to both. Yeah, I'll say this to both of them. We're out there, we're watching, and we'll be there whenever there is need of us.
Well, gentlemen, we appreciate you showing up tonight and meeting us so far in the middle of nowhere. We really appreciate it. Our listeners appreciate it. And especially getting to know both organizations, and that you both took time out of your busy day to come sit with us, talk about your organizations, and tell us about yourselves. But the verse needs you, and there's a lot of people who need help. From all of us here at FastForecast, we thank you for your time. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Fly safe.